All right, welcome again to another live. This will not be long, I promise you. We're just jumping on here for a few moments, and I got to skedaddle. Welcome. We're just going to give people just a tiny bit of time to get on, and I'm going to dive right in, okay? All right, just want to mention some, just want to mention something to you. We just, over at sombertree.com, we just released our stone collection. We got a whole shipment of stone jewelry that we just dropped today. So what you do is you go over to sombertree.com, go to new arrivals, and you'll see them all right here. These are beautiful handmade pieces that we have here. Take a look at all of this, man. This is awesome. And we are so glad to be able to offer this to you. And yeah, we got quite a few pieces here, actually. Quite a few pieces. Look at all of that. Yeah, there you go. Jasmine, or rather we got Jasper, yellow Jasper, Madagascar, green opal, septarian rough. We got all kinds of stuff here. And like I said, we just released this today. Tangerine quartz pendant, amethyst crystal set, copper twist natural agate slab, black tourmaline. It's all kinds of stuff. Take a look at that, y'all. Again, that's over at sombertree.com. Make sure you check that out, okay? We'll be starting here in another minute, or less than a minute, well, after this song is over, and then we're going to start, okay? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day here. It is December the 21st, 2025. Another beautiful day out here in the very sunny state of Arizona. And yeah, it was another great one today. And I hope it was great where you are, wherever you guys are. And make sure you're doing those breathing exercises. Make sure you're getting that sun exposure. Make sure you're getting out there and you're walking and you're doing your thing. Okay, so make sure you're doing all of that. But I just want to jump on here because I tell you, it's really something. I have spent the last few days really like in deep research, man, on a bunch of things. By the way, make sure you check it out. Go on our community page because we have an offer going on right now. It's not on Sombertree. It's on our community page here on YouTube. Over 700 books, over 700 digitized books, research papers, $10. That's something I'm selling. And you can only, and someone asked about using, PayPal. Not right now. Can't do that, but I can do Cash App. And $9.99. Check it out, y'all. I mean, that's it. I'm not going to be adjusting the price. I'm not doing it. That's just it. $9.99. You get over 700 books. So if you're a researcher like me, or you just like really getting into the details of stuff and all of that, this is it. This is the mother load. Okay. So go to our community page. All the instructions are there. Okay. All right. So one of the things we've been talking about is really diving in and understanding the infiltration of how this system operates. Okay. This matrix system that we're in. And, and there are certain things that this matrix system is always going to steer you towards, certain belief systems, certain ideologies and things like that, right? And one of the things we said on this platform is what? The matrix system, the operating system of the matrix system is what? Judaism. The operating system of the matrix system is Judaism, all right? And so we have been taking little peeps here and there at what's going on at Turning Point. Of course, Turning Point, as you know, that is the organization that was started by mostly Charlie Kirk, and he had some other people that came in and to assist as well on that or whatever, but mainly that was Charlie Kirk's thing. And Charlie Kirk, this was something that was geared towards students, high school students, really college students. He was an individual that would go to different college campuses and have these live debates and lively debates. He would actually, get with the people and say, hey, let's talk, let's debate, that kind of thing. And so for that, I hats off to you, because at least it's a conversation. It's not like, sending people to hell and all this other stuff. But, so for that much, I give that to them. Right. And so anyway, as time went on, as we begin to discover, thanks in part to people like Candace Owens, of course, was bringing this out. He started to evolve in his ideology when it comes to Israel. And he was not liking how he was being overly pressured to tout or to push a certain narrative when it came to Israel. They wanted the organization. They had a lot of people who was financing Turning Point that were wanting him to go in a more pro-Zionist direction. However, someone like a Charlie Kirk, who seemingly was an individual that was very well-read and all of that, took many trips to Israel and all of that. He also was understanding what was going on in Gaza. He also understood, what Israel was doing and their role in that as well. So he began to start questioning that personally. And then he started doing it publicly. Once he started doing that, they didn't like that. And so things were started to change. And, there's text messages and stuff out there. You can look and you can find them yourself. He was like, he got to the point where he said, finally, I'm done. He said, these people basically live up to their stereotype. That's what he said. And he said, I'm done. He said, in fact, I'm so done. In our next convention, I'm thinking about inviting Candace Owens to come and speak. And so they were like, nope, that ain't it. Next thing you know, dude was gone. They took him out. Right. So anyway, fast forward, if you've been tracking a little bit with them, you notice that they have been taking this pro-Zionist turn, in a hard way. I mean, it wasn't even a day or so after this man was dead that they were already saying, well, his last breath was he loves Israel. And, and they would really try to push this whole narrative to bridge Charlie Kirk with Israel and Zionism and all of that. And they were really trying hard to do that, but it wasn't really landing, not on everybody. It wasn't really landing. People were seeing right through it. Well, anyway, I got to give you all the backdrop here. So anyway, so what happens is they continue to do this, keep pushing it and all of that. Then they start building this whole case online. Like if you're critical of Turning Point, that means you hate Israel. And that means you hate all Jews, that kind of thing. And they were going extra hard with this nonsense. They were going extra hard with this stuff. And so, and then, I remember in a couple of interviews I saw with Erica Kirk, and she was talking about anti-Semitism and, this is very bad, for the country, for the world. Why would you hate these people? And, and she was just really going on and on and on about this. And it's like, okay, this is an oversell. And so it was that. Then you have the head of CBS News, or CBS now, Barry Weiss, a Jewish woman, and she was overselling it as well. And then it was just all of that, right? And you should see these people on X. I mean, they were really going hard with this are you an anti-Semite? That kind of thing, right? So anyway, so this past few days, they've been having Turning Point has had their convention right here in the Phoenix area. And they've had their whole cast of characters. It's been really, I haven't watched it. I just saw clips, but there was a lot of stuff. You had Ben Shapiro that was really going in on Candace Owens and, also pushing a whole pro-Zionist narrative and all of that. Then you had Tucker Carlson, who was coming in from another angle, was kind of the opposite of that. And then you had some other cast of characters too that was really trying to boost Israel and all of that other stuff, right? So that's what was been going on. And then they even, from what I understood, they actually had a Sabbath meal They actually had a Sabbath meal at the conference. We're not pushing Zionism. It's just we're just having a Sabbath meal. It's like, okay, so we see where this is going. Anywho, so this brings us to Nicki Minaj. Okay, so this was their surprise guest that they had today, Nicki Minaj. And so I'm gonna find a clip. Let me get this clip for you so you can see what was going on there and what she had to say and all of that stuff. So let me see. That would be under, let me see if I can get the intro here. Okay, so I have an intro video here, and then I got some other videos here. So this is when she first came out on the stage and all of that. She was holding hands with Erica Kirk and all of that. So here it is right here. Let me pull this up here, and let's get that up on the screen. Here you go. In 3, 2, 1. I'll probably have to turn that down because of the music, and they're gonna try to copyright me on that. But anyway, so that's her. That's them coming out, and man, they got rock star. I mean, they giving her the rock star status, right? So they giving her all of that, and she's coming out. Yay! Okay, so this is leading up to something, and here is let's see. So this is what this guy's saying. He says, rapper Nicki Minaj makes a surprise appearance at AmFest, salutes the crowd. The appearance comes after Minaj recently defended Christians facing persecution in Nigeria. And then he said, and then I guess she said this: "Dear God, release your immediate intervention in this matter, rescue the hostages, and may the peace that passes all understanding fall upon their families right now," she said in the post back in November. Okay, so let's stop here for a second. Okay, you know me, I like to just cut through all this stuff here. The only reason why the conservative side or the right has taken any interest in what was going on in Nigeria from a humanitarian perspective, because traditionally they don't do that. Traditionally, that is not their forte. They don't really take too much interest in what's going on the continent of Africa unless they're sending missionaries over there or they're bombing the heck out of it. That's about it. That's about as far as that goes. But the reason why they took interest in what was going on in Nigeria was because of the fact that there were many reports that were coming out that Christians were being attacked by Muslims, right? And so, as you know, right now here in the West, that's the whole narrative right now, is that they're trying to push people against Muslims. They're trying to say that all Muslims are bad. We better be fearful of them. We got to, these dudes out here be driving all kind of stuff. That's what you're hearing in my mic. Dirt bikes and all ATVs, all kind of stuff. Anyway, so that's the whole thing, is that they have been really pushing this, and we've actually talked about this, how, this is why there's so much focus on the Somalians community up in Minnesota. They're trying to putting all this focus on, look how these people come to this country and look how they're doing this and how they're treating this and that and blah 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 and all this other stuff, right? But it's what it's really about. It's not so much of the fact that they're from Somalia. It's because they're Muslim. And remember what I told you. The reason why they are pushing all of these Muslim community groups into places like in the United States and all throughout Europe is because it makes it a lot more convenient for them when something goes down to blame somebody, because they have been pushing this whole narrative that Muslims are bad people, so forth and so on. And black people, I don't want to get too deep, too far in this, because I've told you that before. We actually talked about this. I spent some time talking about this. When you look at the black community in of itself, we have a very long history within what we call the black community as a people that we know how to coexist. You got Christians and you got Muslims. We know how to coexist. You go to any place like Philadelphia, New York, Baltimore, whatever, you're going to find that black folks and black Christians and black Muslims have a long-standing tradition. We can work together. We live together. We, do things together and all that kind of stuff. So that message isn't necessarily going to hit home with black Americans. However, here comes Nicki Minaj pushing this whole entire narrative that, oh my God, the Muslims are attacking the Christians. So the right, they get wind of that, and they were like, oh my God, we got to get a hold of this woman. And that's exactly what they did. So let's go to here. This is a post that she did some time ago, and I actually remembered this. Let's see, this was right here. When it wasn't a post she did, sorry, it wasn't a post she did. It was this right here. Let me bring this up on the screen. It was this right here, and she started saying some things that were actually pro-Israel, on her platform. And so one of the things she did, this is like a few weeks before this actual event that took place today, she started following this pro-Israeli platform or channel profile, whatever, called Vivid. And so once she followed that just, oh my God, you see what's happening right now? She's following Vivid. Yeah, she's with us. She's with us. They started really promoting that. And then she there was another post she did on her channel where she actually mentioned what was it? She actually mentioned she was saying how fortunate and how happy she was with her fan base in Israel. Like, this came out of the blue. This literally came out of the blue. And I should say the blue and the white and the star. Anyway, but yeah, so she said that. So there was already this low kind of like thing that they were feeding out there, trying to, drip, little drip here, little drip there, to let you know that, okay, she's going to the pro-Zionist situation. She's going over there. And then next thing you know, she shows up here. So that is why she's where she is right now. And so they have, and so another reason, the other reasons that they're trying to say that she's up here is because of stuff like this. She has been publicly butting heads with Gavin Newsom, who's the governor of the state of California. And she has come out and has said some things, has taken a stance when it comes to LGBT, which is very interesting coming from Nicki Minaj. I'm not saying she's LGBT, but this is a woman who, I would say this as an individual, listen, if you're going to, before you start criticizing people of their, and I'm not a pro LGBT person, okay, so that ain't it. But before you start criticizing people publicly on their sexual preferences, their sexual practices and stuff like that, you might want to start checking what you've been doing for the last 10 plus years publicly. You might want to check that first, because it's just what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So there's got to be some consistency there. You understand what I'm saying? You can show up in a thong, have your breasts hanging out, talk about how you gonna do somebody and do all this other stuff, all of this stuff, right? But then when it comes to what people do as far as their selection, or they want to, be a gay or lesbian or tranny or whatever, now all of a sudden you got problems with that. That's a bridge too far. I got some issues with that in terms of consistency. You know what I mean? But anyway, this is her whole thing with she was saying, imagine being the guy running on wanting to see trans kids. Not even a trans adult would run on that. Normal adults wake up and think they want to see healthy and safe, happy kids. And so she just was pushing on that. And then, she's, so it was like a whole back and forth thing. So as far as what they do to trans kids and all that, we've done videos on that. We talked about that and how damaging that really is. It really is that. It really is a whole situation there. But anyway, so here's another clip here that from her appearance at this event here. Let me pull this up here and let's play and take a listen to it, okay?
Receive that, bullies. We won't be silenced ever again. We will speak up for Christians wherever they are in this world. Amen.
Amen. I don't know if you can see this at home, but she's getting a ton of standing ovation.
Okay, so we can just stop right there. So, hey, a minute. Hold on for a second. Hold on. This is Nicki Minaj. So she just said we're going to be standing up for Christians everywhere. Am I missing something here? Am I missing something? Okay, let's cut to the chase because I got to go. Listen, what this shows is a couple of things. Number one, politics is politics is politics is politics, period. I don't care what they try to sell you, if it's family values, if it's Christianity, if it's having conservative values or whatever it is. At the end of the day, it goes to the top bidder. Whatever the ultimate goal is, that's what it's about. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anybody. What they care about is their end game. And as I just said, the only reason she's on that stage for two reasons. One, because she mentioned this whole thing that's going on in Nigeria. If it wasn't for people like her, it wouldn't even be a glimmer in any conservative's eye on what was going on in Nigeria. Christians get persecuted in throughout Africa, in many parts of Africa, on a regular basis. I'm not saying it's all parts of Africa, but there are many parts of Africa where Christians do get abused. They get terrorized and all of that stuff. That stuff does happen. You got Muslims, it's the same thing with them. Same thing that happens to them. But people generally don't even care about that. But the only reason why they care about it now is because it fits a certain narrative for a certain group of people, and that's Zionists, because they're trying to drum up as much hatred and anger against Muslims. So that's number one. Number two, as far as this whole thing with her being on the stage and all that, I don't care who they get on the stage. But what it tells me when I see something like that is, at the end of the day, you could talk about conservative values. You could talk about Christianity. You could talk about being holy. You could talk about being set apart. You could talk about being a Christ follower. You could say all of that stuff you want. But at the end of the day, if you can have somebody like that and look over all of that, you can literally look over all of that and have somebody like that, and you're like, yeah, you should see the tweets. If I had the time, I would show you. There are so many tweets. They are flooding the zone on X right now and saying, you got conservatives out here talking about, yeah, we're the cool kids now. Yeah, this is what it's supposed to be. This is what we've been asking for. We need to be a part of the mainstream and all this other stuff. So all of those value system stuff that they talk about, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. There was one guy that actually said, they were like saying, it was right here. Let me see if I have it here. Let me go. Let me see. It was a response. It was a reply. Let me see here. It was right here. Was this a reply here? Of course, I can't find it. Hold on. It said, oh, here it is. One guy, he said, he was calling out Candace Owens. He says, are you mad they found a smarter token black woman? There's a conservative saying this stuff. So I was like, the fact that you're calling both of them tokens, it tells you exactly what you guys are about and how you see black folks. So this was really fascinating to me to watch this unfold. And for particularly Christians, it proves to the world that whatever you say at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I've seen this play out over and over again in music. You got Christians that will talk about, they'll look down on people on what they wear in church, what they say, who they associate with, the whole nine. But honey, you get somebody walking, you get R. Kelly to walk into church. You name the person, you get Sean Combs to walk into church. These people will fall out and talk about the anointing has come into place. They will do this all the time. I remember seeing this when I was in, when we used to go to New Birth, back when Eddie Long was the bishop at that time. And this man will preach straight fire. But then all of a sudden they would have some of these folks I knew were turned out. Will come on the stage and people be, all of a sudden they speaking in tongues. So no, there is no standard on this. And what this did is actually just, it literally exposed really where their standards really lie. And I'm talking about the Christian right, conservatives. Everything you say, you just literally just threw it in the garbage. Literally, just threw it in the garbage. So it's funny because you're going to go after someone questioning Zionism, but this is okay. you okay with you. But Nicki Minaj, she's gonna bring the party together. We need more Nicki Minajes. This is Christian conservatives are saying this. It's really, really fascinating to watch. And that's why I said, y'all, don't put your stock in any of these people. You know, continue always to ask questions. Stay tuned. In the next day or so, we're going to do a readathon. Remember, I told you we got a ton of books. We're going to go through their sources. We're going to go through all of these historical books that they, and you know who I'm talking about, wrote themselves. And I have picked a bunch of excerpts in full context that we are going to read. That's going to be a very good broadcast that we're going to do. Make sure you check that out. And like I said, again, we're making the books available. Some of the books we're even making available for you. So if you're interested, you're a book person like me, you definitely want to check that out, okay? But we're very serious on here. But again, one more time, make sure you check out our website, sombertree.com. We got our stone jewelry sale going on right now. Handmade, 100%, beautiful pieces. And yeah, this is straight from the heart. I mean, these people, the people that do this, very good job, very good work. So anyway, so just wanted to make sure you knew that. Sombertree.com, we still got that promo going on, up to 30% sale going on right now. Again, the website, one more time, is sombertree.com. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys take care, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now.